intended especially for solopreneurs. This morning, we're going to be looking at teamwork projects. We'll be right back after this. Hello everyone, this is Alanna, your host. And greetings panel members. What's new in your life this fine morning in your part of the world? This morning, let's try and keep our introductions brief so that we can get right to our discussion. So I'll give it a start this morning by saying, in my coaching and consulting work, I help solopreneurs want more from their business. Together we overcome. We look at overwhelm and procrastination, and we look at getting to that business plan and making it a reality. So, who's next this morning? Who would like to go next? David.
My name is David Flannery. I'm with the Affordable Websites for Small Businesses and United Country Sauk Valley Realty, Team Flannery. And I monitor the chat here. And right now we have Vivek in there. And that's it. What's going on new today is it's very cold.
Yes. We've been talking about very cold in the green room before we started, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, minus 30 where you live is really serious. So take care, David.
We are.
Great. Who else is next?
Well, I'll keep it going, I guess. My name is Bill Graham. My company is Shy Guy Productions, where we allow you to forget the tech with our one-click live stream platform, or we can provide you with the resources, training, and support you need to do it yourself.
Right on. I like your blue background, Bill. Looks
Thank
nice.
you.
Yeah.
It's similar to Vivek's, actually.
Yeah, it is.
I like his background.
So go ahead, Vivek.
Namaste. My name is Vivekanand. I am proud to share my belief with Steve Jobs and Leonardo da Vinci, who said simplicity is the ultimate in sophistication. I aim to bring time-tested wisdom and happiness together into your business and life by unifying, simplifying, and amplifying simple technology and tools. Wake Technology is my brand. Together, let us wake up our potential.
Aha, right on. Thank you. Now, Alanna.
Hello, greetings everyone. Alanna here, coming to you from Ireland. It's 5 p.m. here, and I get to complain about the cold along with everyone else. My company is ALB Digital Marketing Solutions, where I help web designers and people who own their own websites maintain their websites and make changes and so forth on them. I also do affiliate marketing as well. So that's me, coming to you from the very cold eastern part of Ireland.
Oh dear. Well, I won't say what I said in the green room, otherwise you guys will kick me out. Oh dear, it is such fun, isn't it, to connect with people in all over the world. I find that's really fun. So this morning we were going to talk about teamwork projects, and Alanna, she actually mentioned that a couple of weeks ago when we were discussing how to stay focused on the work that we know is important for us to do. And so she has agreed to sort of walk us through. And I did a little bit of research, and the guy who did the video, the how-to video on their website, sounded like he had an Irish accent. So
It's possible.
I wonder.
Maybe that's true.
I wondered if it was an Irish company.
I'd have to look that up. I'm not quite sure.
Well, it was a distinctive Irish accent. So Alanna, just to go back and recap, you raised the topic that in that discussion where you said that you used it, and that it was a great support and a great tool for the work that you do with your clients. So could you remind us why do you find it such a great tool to start with? Why did you choose it?
Well, I came across this tool in a previous job that I was on, and as a web administrator, and they were using this tool as a project management tool, and there was 4 of us on the team, and there were many projects going at once, and different people were assigned to different parts of the project, and that's how it was managed. So then I started using it myself in my own business, and I just found it a great way to help keep me focused. And my favorite part about teamwork is the timer, where you can start and stop the timer. I find it very useful. At first I found it quite intimidating, but now I find it very useful in terms of focusing on what I'm working on, and keeping that timer thing in the back of my mind as far as charging clients and that sort of thing. So that's why I'm a huge fan of teamwork.
So the timer allows you to record and stay on top of the amount of time you devoted to that particular client's work. So
Absolutely.
that makes your invoicing much more efficient and easy to do.
Definitely.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense especially when you're working on things. You have many projects for many clients. Certainly makes.
And prior to that, I used to just write down a start and stop time. But if you're taking a phone call, or if you're interrupted with the doorbell or anything like that, that eats into your client's time. With teamwork, you can pause the timer, and if you have to take a phone call or a lunch break or whatever, you can pause the timer and then come back to it. So it's a much more accurate way of, to me, it's a more honest way to build my clients.
Well, and I'm sure your client are your clients aware that you use that tool?
Well, the one company that I started using it from is still on that company's teamwork account, and so when that company has work for me, I log into my account on their site, and so yes, they are aware of it. I don't think any of my other clients are, though.
All right. So the other thing that I noticed when I went to their website, they have a variety of kind of levels of service. It seemed as though they had a free one that was called Free Forever, but it said that you could only have 2 active projects, and that you got just basic project management. Whereas if you went to the pro version, you had the availability of up to 500 projects. So
Yeah, which, I'm not
no,
near that.
none of us are
I'm
there.
not there. I'm using the free version, and the free version works just fine for me.
So that was when I read that it said just the basic project management. I kind of wondered, so what does that entail? What does the basic entail? So,
Well, I mean, I can give you a demo.
oh yeah, I'd love to see. I'd love
Yeah.
to see the inside of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so let me see if I can do a share screen here without too much drama.
This is the basic version you're demonstrating?
Yeah, this is the basic version, and just see if I can find that share screen button. Where is it? Share. Okay. I am gonna go here, screen 2. Okay, so can everybody see this screen here?
Yes.
Okay, so this is when I open Teamwork. This is what I see.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I use Teamwork, like I can add another project here. The way I use it, I'll just take you for a quick tour here. The way I use it is I simply go here to my initials and I go to my tasks.
Mm-hmm.
When I open up my tasks, I have 2 different setups. I have general tasks that are not billable, and then I have billable work. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have billable work here, and things are a little slow at the minute. As you can see, I don't have a lot going on. So this is the stuff that I work on in my spare time. That's not billable, so I do my billable work first.
Of course.
And then, so here are the tasks there. Where did it go? Oh, it's just loading still. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to add a task here, I'll just add a task and show you how that works. So if I wanted to add a task that says write a blog post for my empty nester site, then what you can do here is you can assign it to someone. So if I have more than one person on my team, I can assign it to someone else. And what we used to do in my old job is this would always be ticked. And that way, whenever there was something new, a new task, I would get notification that way. So I can set, what I normally do is I normally would start the first day of the month and close the end of the month. But for this one, I'm just going to close on Thursday, since that's the end of the month. Hopefully I'll have that done. But I wanted to call your attention to here too. So here, if I wanted to write a description, I could make a description I could perhaps put in a subject there. Here I can add files if I wanted to add files to this task. Here I can make it a private thing. Over here, I can set the priority. I can make it a high priority, which means it needs to be done right away. And I found this to be quite helpful on my old job as well. Because as soon as you see these red exclamation points, you know those are the things you have to tackle first. So that was for the things I would do first. And then here's the timer here, my favorite thing here.
All right. Oh, cool.
So there's my timer. And then here you can add a follower. And you can create dependencies. Now, I don't really use the dependencies, but if you had, say, for instance, you had a content calendar where you want to put in 8 posts for the month, then this would be February content calendar, and then each task underneath that would be dependent on this. Here you can do a repeat. So if I have a repeat, something that happens every month, let's say, I can make this happen every week, every couple of days, etc.
So that's really, instead of having to redo it each time.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I have here. So this one here is for a client I do social media for, and so that's my January one. And when that is closed off, the next one is going to pop in.
Right.
For the next one. And then this one is reminders. Again, I don't really use that one. But
may I ask a question?
Yes.
On dependency, I'm used to that meaning that one thing has to be done before another. Is that
Yeah,
set up that
that's
way.
exactly what that is. Yeah.
So you could set up,
Mm.
I need to do a home inspection, and then it's dependent, or the inspection addendum is dependent on the home inspection being done.
Mm.
Right. Yeah, and you can have a couple of those. So with the free version, as Lowland said, like would only get 2 projects, but because I just split it out into billable work and non-billable work, that works out better for me.
Mm-hmm.
So if I add this task, and I can add that task there, save changes. And then if I open this, I can also I can add files here if I wanted to. This is another thing that I really like. I can make a little note here. I can add a file. I can notify someone if there's someone else. So here, if I wanted to add a file or maybe a link, because that's what I used to do as well. If I was having a problem on a particular part of a website that I worked on, I would make a note in here, and then my manager would take a look at it and make notes back to me on that. But here's the timer. This is my favorite thing. So you can start the timer here, and then it pops up down here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a pause. So if I started working on this and I forgot to put the timer on, and I had kind of a rough idea of how much time I had spent on it, and I forgot to use the timer, I could still log time to it. So if I just log this time, and I could make this, and I could make it billable or not billable.
Right.
But say, for instance, I worked on it for 45 minutes, so that would be like 0.75, let's say.
Right.
And that would be 45 minutes. And here I can mark it as complete or not, and then save that. So, like I said, that's one of the things I really, really like about that. Another thing that we used to do, and I don't know if I have this feature because I don't really use it, is this notebook feature. Notebooks, if you want it, this is a great place to put like login information. So what we used to do is we used to put in login information, and we used to just title it whatever, login for whatever website, and then here we would have a link and a password, and then we would save that.
So
Again,
that
I don't really use it,
so that
I use LastPass.
So that everybody has access to it that are working on that project.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
that would make
if I get a
sense.
task that means I have to log into the back end of a website and I need to get the username and password, I would go and look for the notebook for that. So that's what we used to use the notebook for.
So now I noticed this is going back a little bit. Where it says files, I guess you had opened that. Can you integrate with Google Docs or any other items?
Yeah, well, the way that works is what we used to do in my old job is we used to, like, if a client wanted to, say, upload a bunch of pictures, they would send it to us in a file, and then either the manager would upload them into the I'll just go back here. The manager would upload them into the files, and I would go here, and if she gave me a task that said, okay, put all these files on the website or put all these pictures on the website, I would go here, and there would be a whole list. Like for this particular one, I actually have a couple of files for this one client that has asked me to do some work. But if I wanted to upload files, all I would have to do is just click here and upload the file. And you can upload it from wherever. So if it's a Google Doc, if it's a Microsoft Word doc, it doesn't really matter. I can just add it here and then just find it there.
Hello everyone. I'm humbled to see that I have a dedicated folder in your browser.
Where? Hey, Jay.
Hello.
I didn't know Jay was here.
Oh, actually, all the super affiliates are watching from YouTube, so.
No way. You're lying.
No pressure, Alanna.
Oh my God. I'm mortified now. I wish you didn't tell me that. You see my face turning red?
I'm just kidding.
Okay, good. Thank you.
But I will share the link because I think this is actually really valuable information.
Okay, so now I'm kind of thrown off a little bit. Jay's watching. Oh no. Okay, so Right. So uploading files. Yeah. So that's how you upload files. One of the other things that is kind of cool is if you go into the overview. Now, for someone that has a lot of people on their team, this would be quite useful. So it would actually tell you what's been started, what's late, what's coming up, and you have like these little milestones and stuff.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is there a file upload? So it's a two-part question. Is there a single file upload limit and a account file upload limit? So for example, is there a limit to the size of the file that you're uploading? So is it limited to 10 megs or 15? And then does your Teamwork free account have a global file? Because you know, usually these project management systems have a limit as to how much storage you get.
Well, to answer the first question, I have not run across an issue with file uploading because I don't use it that much. I use it basically for organization. So for that one client, I have those 2 files for her that I wanted to send to her. So I put them in there just so I would have them organized for her. And to the second part of your question, I think
there is a limit. When I was looking at the pricing, the free one told you how many megabytes you had, and then so there is a limit for each of their different paid versions. But I didn't run
across that problem.
Yeah, I didn't record what it was, but I remember seeing that.
Okay. Unfortunately, I can't stay, but I just wanted to pop in and say hello. And Alanna, I think it's a really cool presentation, and
thank you.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing the rest of it and sharing it with all the super affiliates.
So is it cold in Vegas, Jay?
Yeah, it's only 26 right now.
Oh God.
But it is cloudy.
Well, I've got negative 35 degrees Celsius.
I'm sorry, Jay. We just don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I have a chill. The air conditioning's too cold in here.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, it is cloudy there.
Yeah.
So, Jay, before you go, one of the things because last week we looked at Basecamp, and looking at the way that Alanna had her billable and non-billable projects laid out. I've been using Basecamp in a very similar way. So what I did with it is instead of billable versus non-billable, the first section was my brain dump, and the section was my daily task. So I could pull tasks out of that brain dump and into the daily task. And so there are a lot of similarities that I see here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like a cool thing to jump into.
Well, one of the things I wanted to show you real quick is, like on this one, when I bill this client, for instance, it tells me how much time I've spent on this. So like, here's my log time. So I've spent 5 hours and 15 minutes for her, and that's going to be billable. So that's one of the things I really like. The other thing I really like is each time, because I'm so limited with teamwork, each time I spend any time on something, I actually make a little note so that I know what I spent time on, and I can add that into the invoice as well. So, and that way she knows what I spent time on as well. So I find that quite cool.
And with that timer feature that you showed earlier, where you can add time to the timer, and does it then just append that time to the existing running clock?
Yeah, so if I wanted to go into this, let's see if I can't remember. I think I have to go back out here to do it. I think the way you do it is I think it's here. So here's another thing I like is you can also set a progress. So for the work for the tasks that I've done for her so far, it's actually more like 80%. but I can set it for 80%. There's a few more little bits I have to do. But here I can log more time by just clicking here. So I can either start the timer on the project, or I can just click here and just say log more time. And then I would write a description here, just say sample time. And then I can just put 15 minutes.
So you can say what you were doing there.
Yeah.
So
and there's another feature too, that if you find yourself, like I used to do this all the time when I first started to use it, I would log time to the wrong project. And what you can do there is you can actually change that. So if I went into a project and realized that I had logged time to the wrong project, because they're all being billed to clients. So what you can do is you can change it, move it to another project as well. So if I found out that, okay, I logged this to the wrong client, then I can move it to another project, and I can, if I had another project, but I don't, so, but I could. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's a helpful little thing as well.
So for a contract that I work on a regular basis, I've been keeping what I call as a diary, so that I can go back and say, well, this is what I did on that particular day. Although I'm not, what I'm paid is not connected to what I achieved in a direct way, but it looks here as though you could use this as a diary so that you can keep track. This is, Yeah,
well, my favorite thing, as I said before, is the timer feature, because if once that timer is on, it's like a psychological thing that you can focus on what I need to get done. And if I have to move away from the desk or take a call or go downstairs for lunch or whatever, I always try to remember to pause the timer so that, you know, my time billed to a client is pretty accurate, you know?
Yeah.
Last question. When the timer goes on, does the you know the music they play when they're spinning the plates, you know, in the show? That music come on? You know?
No, there's no music except in my head.
Oh, okay.
There's no music. So if I wanted to start this timer here, I would just start the timer, but you would just see in the corner here.
Yeah, that's cool.
No music.
Now,
It's all bells and whistles, no music.
It's just in my head.
Yeah. Does that little tab, that timer tab, stay in your window if you go to a different browser or different project or whatever? Cool. That's cool. So
if I went out and I went to another task, and the other thing about this too, and I'm pretty sure it works here in the free version, if I move, I can't open up a new task until I close the timer on this task. So if I say, for instance, I wanted to go to work on another project, it won't even let me go in there. It won't let me go in there, but it stays on. And if you shut down your computer with the timer on, the timer keeps running. So if you reboot, because this has happened to me, if I leave the timer on, I shut down, I come back the next day, there's like, I did it one time over the weekend, and there was like 72 hours locked to that.
I was wondering why my invoice was so big.
It was like, okay, how much time did I really spend on this project? So, yeah.
Cool.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can't move to another project, so.
All right, thanks very much, everyone. Take care.
Okay, thanks for dropping in, Jay.
Yeah, see you, Jay.
Enjoy Vegas.
I'll try.
Oh yeah, real hard. That's a real hard one.
I've got a question, if I may.
Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Number one, Heidi from Italy has joined us in the chat.
Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Heidi.
Is there a way to see what you've done for the whole day?
That's a very good question. I've never really tried to do that. Because normally I don't really work like that. It's like at the end of the month, I just kind of go through, I block them out in terms of 30-day blocks. So if I have a project that I'm working on, I don't really need to go to it unless,
well, I'm trying to get a
Yeah,
time study done for my wife, and I
yeah.
was wondering if I could, in doing this, she would have different projects
Yeah.
going, and
Well,
then
you could. You could, like, if you knew you worked on one project, let's say for one during the course of a day, and you knew you stopped and started, like I could go in here and see what I did on these days here. So for the 11th, I worked on this project. I logged time to this project twice. So I know I worked like a half an hour on this project on that particular day. Um, so you could do it that way if you knew what you had worked on in a given day, and perhaps a calendar might help you there if you knew you had to do that. I haven't really used that at all because I usually do it in monthly blocks.
Yeah, because that's the way you're billing.
That's the way I bill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
that would
like I
make
have
sense.
yeah, and I normally have like I'm authorized for a certain amount of time, and one of the reasons why I like this as well is so I don't go over the agreed upon time, the
Right,
authorized time.
right.
So if a client says, okay, I'll give you 6 hours to do this, that, or the other, I want to make sure I don't go over that time. And this is a very useful way to not do that,
Yeah.
And that way nobody is surprised, And if I need more time, then I can always notify them and say, okay, I've already done all this work, but I still need more time to get this part done. And then, there's no surprises.
So I guess there's where my mind is going. Let's say that you or I get a project to create. Well, David does it too. Create a website for someone. Would you start up Could you start up a project here that shows all the steps that need to be done, and be able to share that with the client? So at some point the client could go in and see, okay, so it's we're 50% done now, and we've still got this much to go, like, so that the client can stay on top of the progress as well.
I normally don't. I wouldn't actually, personally, I wouldn't let a client into the way I work like that.
Right.
I would, a couple months back, I would say around June, I was asked by a client to move her website for her. So we had to set up hosting for her. We had to set up a whole new website. She picked a new theme. And basically we just migrated it from one place to another with a new theme and a new hosting package. And I had a meeting with her, and we agreed on a list of things that I was going to do, how much time it was going to take, and how much money she was willing to spend. So in a case like that, because this is a limited thing for me, I created a task for her, and I listed out everything we talked about in the task. And then what I would do is, as I'm working on the tasks, and again, I'm every time I work on something, I'm making a note of what I had done with that time, and that way, over the course of a couple of weeks, I would send her a mail and say, okay, this is what's done. This is what's yet to be done. And that way, I don't really want clients to be involved in my billing process, if you get me.
Right. Okay.
Because this is how I manage my time. So I don't really think that's
it's none of their business. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a conflict of interest for me.
Alanna, I noticed that there was a download button, I think a little lower on that page that you're on. Does that allow you to download all of this data in different formats? Or, like, for example, the question David was asking earlier, like, at the end of the day, can I tell how much time I spent on maybe 15 projects? Can I take that information and download a CSV into a spreadsheet and have it calculate all of that stuff for me?
Yeah, I'm trying to find out. Do you remember where that download button is?
I thought it was straight down on the page you were already at, or
unless it's actually on one of the tasks.
It might be.
I'll go to my tasks. Oh, I'm already in it. Sorry. Right. I will just let's see. I don't know if there's anything in here.
maybe at the bottom of that. No.
Yeah, see, I'm at the bottom here.
Yeah, I don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Disregard that question. There was a down.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you have to go to the. Oh, it was where you had your dates sorted out and that type of thing. But that's okay. Maybe
I'll see if it's maybe overview or something.
yeah, you can get back to me on that.
Oh, you know what? The download button might be in the files.
Okay.
Because here there is a download button. So if somebody asked me to upload a bunch of pictures, let's say, I could view them, I could preview them, or I could download them.
Sure.
Or
Okay.
upload them. So I would have that option as well.
But in the files place, you could create a progress report based on what's in here, and save it to Google Docs, and share that with the client. You could do it that way,
so
couldn't you?
This actually might address what David was looking for. I just clicked on the time here.
Right.
Okay, and so this is what I've done over the course of, like, this is what I did on Thursday, the 20. This is for the month of December.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. And then what I should be able to see as a manager, I would be able to see, did you work 8 hours? Let's say you were supposed to work 8 hours a day on different projects. Did you actually do that? And you know,
right. Yeah.
Because that's more along the line when you were working for that other company.
Right.
So you'd be able to.
Yeah, so it would be the time. So you could click on the time and see how much time you spent on any particular day doing whatever it was, you know. So here, like if I wanted to work 5 hours a day, let's say, so for this one, Sunday, that's on Saturday. So I worked half an hour on a Saturday. So yeah, you could do that. So here's time I spent back in December. So it doesn't look like there's anything for January yet, because I haven't closed off probably any of those January tasks yet. But yeah, so it would be the time button that you would look for.
Really? This is really, yeah, this is really quite
that's actually a new thing. I didn't know I could see that, but yeah, that's actually a pretty cool feature right there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is probably the files section, files under the files tab. When you say if the client wants some images or whatever, they upload it to they upload it, then how easy is it to actually upload it to the website itself?
Well, it's kind of a two-step process. So when I was doing that before, what I would have to do is I would have to download them all, right? So I would select them and download them. I would click over here and I would download them. So if I downloaded this, I would have to download it to my computer into a folder on my desktop, which is what I would normally do. And then, like, see here, this one just popped in. I just downloaded that one. And then I can put it in, show it in a folder, but I would keep it on a folder. I would move it all into a central location on my desktop. So I would have everything in one place, and I would name it the name of the client, and then I'd open up the website, and then I would click and drag those pictures across, put them into the media library.
So the other, when it says download a something, a picture or whatever, I just wonder, one of the things that I find difficult is everything I use seems to be geared to want to download from my computer or put it into my computer, and I want to access something that's in Google Photos, for example. And boy, there are a whole lot of steps you have to go through to make that happen.
Yeah, see, with Google Photos, because that's kind of browser-based, that's kind of in the cloud, if you will. So you would have to download those into a folder on your desktop first.
Exactly.
Because I have had to do that. And you do have to download it onto a folder on your desktop or wherever it is works for you, and then you would click and drag them across. There's no easy way to go from Google Drive into like a WordPress website. Not that I know of.
That's moving us into a whole different topic here.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
This looks like a very useful tool.
It's very cool, I have to say. I'm absolutely crazy about this tool.
Yeah. So now you've got milestones and it shows calendar. Will it integrate with a Google Calendar?
Not that I know of. I've never tried to do that. It does have a calendar, but when we used to use the calendar, oh, there it is, it's up there. So I don't really have anything in this calendar because I don't use it.
You don't use it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really use it for that. Google Calendar I use for kind of keeping me on track of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I open this, like normally my day starts with opening up Google Calendar and this
Team
to
project,
see
yeah.
what I need to kind of work on for the day.
Mm-hmm.
What we used to do in my old job here is anytime we used this calendar for like vacation time, people who needed to have meetings
Mm-hmm.
and that sort of thing. It wasn't really used for project type work. It was more for appointment setting and that sort of thing.
Right,
We didn't
right.
really use it for that.
So,
So see, I'm the only one here, so
yeah.
it's not going to be very
Yeah,
glamorous.
right. So, the other thing I noticed somewhere where there was an email aspect in there, but it seemed to be whether instructions would go back and forth between team members. I've noticed in Basecamp, for example, if I complete a task within Basecamp, I get this big celebration email that says,
Oh yeah.
this is all the wonderful stuff you've just finished.
Yeah. Yeah, no, or you might get a boost.
Yeah.
Somebody might give you a boost.
Yeah.
A couple of boosts in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it doesn't really work like that. No, it doesn't have anything like that.
We're trying to stretch a time management project into a full business solution to all of your expectations.
Absolutely. I know. That's what we're all trying to do.
And then it kind of begs. And the other thing that used to happen is that there's a little bell up here, right? And so if there was anything new that I needed to look at, there'd be like a little 1 or a 2 here. So that would tell me that there's 2 notifications that came in that I need to look at. So I would actually get notified twice. I would get an email notification, and then there would be a little 1 or a 2 here, which means there's updates to tasks or new tasks that I need to take a look at.
Uh-huh.
So that's what that little bell would be for.
Yeah.
This one, I'm not sure what this is for. So this is just
General tasks.
general stuff.
Yeah.
And then here I can add a project. This is stuff I can add if I wanted to add.
It's cool that has a search box, because maybe if you can't find a project and you know the name, it might search and find it.
Yeah. So I can search messages, milestones, or people.
Yeah.
But because I'm the only one using this, that really wouldn't.
But back there where you had the plus, I mean, it looked like calendar when events. Is that events
That would go probably into the calendar.
within
So if I wanted to add-
within teamwork? Okay, all right.
Yeah. So it says add an event.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a calendar. I think that goes into the calendar, and then you can set it to.
Okay. Okay. So
That's
this
my
is
guess. Like I said, I don't use it, but
yeah.
maybe I should. Might not be a bad idea.
Is there a tag system to be able to put tags on different entries so that you can sort them by the tags?
I don't know what you mean by tag, like by person.
Well, like
Eggs or keywords.
you go to Evernote. Evernote has a tag system. That's how they do their searching. You put in a note, and then if you want it to be a new client, you would put new client as a tag. You want it to be website building, you'd put website building as a tag.
I'm wondering if you could do that through the description.
Yeah, and that also sounds like it could be more tied to like a project name,
Yeah.
as opposed like instead of tags, it would be a project name. It would fall under a project title.
But how general is that search feature? Like if you went in and typed in something specific.
Like if I wanted to find something about SSL, let's say, because I had to do something about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so there as a task I did. So that's going to pull up the task that has the SSL in here.
Can you put in a date and see if what comes up on a date that you know you've got something worked on?
Well, you don't have to. You work hard. You don't have to think that hard for a work date.
Well, the reason why I'm hesitating is because over here we go date, month, year, and this is, I think, month, date, year. So I'm just trying to figure out.
20th.
See if anything comes up. There's no results. So what if I say the 10th? I don't think anything's going to come up. Well, okay, so no results found. So it's possible. It looks like it's possible if I knew there was something on a task that I did on the 10th of December.
Yeah, that looks like general tasks. You have your stuff listed in
well, I have it under. There's two general tasks. There's general tasks that are billable and general tasks that are not billable.
Right. Okay.
So that's how I don't really have any projects. So because I just kind of put them all under
into one.
Billable and
Yeah.
billable.
Yeah.
Now, what about support and getting technical questions asked and stuff like that?
I thought I saw that there was. This is powered by teamwork here. I suppose you could go out to the website and see if there's. I've never had an issue with these guys. It's basically just, it's browser based and I just created an account and that was it. Oh, it is an Irish company. Look at that, 353. That's an Irish company, and 021, I think that's Cork. That is awesome. I love that. I love that. So, okay, so here's the website anyway. Like I said, I haven't had any issues with the website. Haven't had any issues with the application. So it's been working fine for me. It suits my needs. It does everything it says on the tin, as they say. To see what they have for support.
Okay, so now we're looking at the basic site. There's obviously an upgrade site. Oh, there's the pricing there. I see it. Okay.
Yeah, so there is pricing here. I'm just gonna. I don't know. I guess it's Teamwork Desk.
No, it's project.
Is it project? Okay. Okay, so that's per agent. Okay. Let's go to project. Okay, yeah, so this was what Lowell Ann was referring to.
Yeah.
So here is $9 a month per user, minimum of 5 users. So
and there's
again,
your file storage at the
bottom.
There's
your storage, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so here it is here.
Yeah.
Okay.
100 meg file space, 2 active projects, limited task boards.
Wow, 100 megabits of file space. Okay.
But notice here it's $9 a month per user, and the minimum is 5 users. So outside of the free plan, if you don't have 5 users or more, it's kind of not really worth it.
Doesn't really make sense, no.
Yeah, it's like $45 a month, and it's in US dollars, which I also find curious. If it's a Irish-based company, but
yeah.
Well, almost everything you look at is here as well, Alanna, is expressed in American dollars.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing that you had mentioned before, Lowell Ann, was connection with other applications. So here you have Google Drive, OneDrive, Slack, and Dropbox.
Yeah.
So if you're paying the $9 a month for the pro version, $9 a month per user, then you will get all this extra bells and whistles here.
Yeah.
I don't know what webhooks are, but
yeah, but depending on the kind of business you have and the number of clients you have, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that $9 a month might make sense.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
again, the minimum is 5 users. So unless,
Yeah.
unless you want to pay $45 a month for a couple of users or less than 5, that sounds a bit excessive. But the features get better the more money you pay, because if you spend $15 a month, here you've got the Google Calendar syncing, Project Portfolio, G Suite, HubSpot, OneDrive. I mean, it gets better.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There you go, Lolan. Ka-ching, ka-ching. Pull out the checkbook.
No. But I mean, the free version that you demonstrated here really certainly does look as though it could be very useful.
Yeah, it keeps me organized in my thought process.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I tend to get a little muddled in my thought process if I know I have a million things to do. If I have it all kind of laid out in teamwork, then it's easier for me to wrap my brain around. So,
yeah. Mm.
I think it'd be cool. I never can keep track of, like, I start to build something, and I never think to keep track of when I started and when I stopped. And sometimes what I think is 2 hours is 4 hours, or so. I could see this being very handy just to, be able to click and start and stop a timer.
I think when it comes to like billing clients, I mean, I like to be as honest as possible. I don't like because it's their time, it's their money, and I don't like to, guess, if you will. So that's why the timer thing is really useful for me, because it's a very
And how hard was it for you to get used to? It's kind of like having that. It's kind of all of a sudden you're a coach now. You got the stopwatch in your hand, and you're walking around life, click, click, click.
Yeah, well, I came across this when I was working as a web administrator, and this is the tool that they used. And so I did find the whole timer thing very intimidating at first. I'm thinking, oh my God, do I have to get this done within a certain time, or how is that working? Does it look like I'm going too slow? Am I going too fast? So there was all that around that. But I came to really enjoy the whole timer factor, because then it's, it actually says, okay, so Alanna was working on this for an hour and a half, So if like, say for instance, you think you're getting nothing done, but you actually are getting something done because the timer says so.
I'm getting nothing done, but I still have time.
Yeah.
Well, I can't see who else is in the room right now. Is there anybody else who has any questions? Gallery view. Oh, here we go. So I don't see or hear any further questions. So thank you so much, Alanna, for walking us through, because
I'll stop sharing now.
It really makes sense for us to be able to see it, and see the application of something, rather than sitting on the outside and reading what they said you can do. But it works way better to be able to see what it really looks like.
Yeah, it's fun. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but like, especially when you're adding tasks, you can move them around and stuff as well. I don't really do that either. Actually, I did try to do that, and I don't think I have that functionality in the free version, but
I think it's cool. Thank you very much, Alanna. I'm going to actually, I can see using it, not necessarily for billing. I mean, that might come later in it, but I can really see it for organizing, keeping track
your
of time.
Project and the things, the steps that need to be taken to get something done.
You have to get used to your tasks will actually become your projects, because you're skipping that first layer, so you don't. But
it's a great little tool.
It does. And being able to group your time in one day is really nice because that's the feature that I'm looking for more than anything
Yeah, and it's
else.
funny that you brought that up because I didn't know it had that feature, and so it was fun that we found it together. I'm enjoying
Yeah.
it.
Well, and
I
that's
didn't
that
know I
all
could
thing.
do that.
We learn what we need to know at the time, right?
Yeah,
And
I
don't
think
go any
that's
further. So
fantastic.
everybody uses it differently. And when you sit around and talk
Yeah.
like that, we all find out
Yeah.
that, oh, yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, that could either be something very exciting to use or something really depressing because you could, look at that and say, oh my God, where did the day go? Or you could say, holy crap, I got a lot done today,
Yeah. Or the main thing is that I've never seen a busier person than my wife, and she's really works hard, but I have a feeling that she's not working on stuff that she should be working on, and she has problems with priorities, and something like this really points that out. That
Yeah, the priority thing is really cool. I like that too.
and it's very hard um, to see that when you're not working off of a list.
Yeah.
And this is something that I would like to see if I can get her to use it.
Well,
It's
but if
relatively simple.
yeah, but I would say there are some people who are sequential thinkers, and there are others who are not.
And I have one that is not.
Well, and so therefore she may not relate to that.
It does take a while to kind of corral your brain around this because I'm kind of like that too. I have all these things happening in my head, but once I can get them down and they're out of my, like doing a brain dump, then I'm okay. I kind of feel like, okay, everything's going to be fine. But yeah, I get a little panicked if I have too much running around in my head, which is another reason why this works so well for me.
Problem with time too is it's very hard to visualize. Putting this stuff into these I always use spreadsheets because I could subtask stuff and build something that I could visualize.
Yeah.
And this would replace, that's a lot of manual work. You have to maintain that. And this, I think, would be a great time saver.
I think so too.
It would definitely help her out if she uses it. That's the key is
Well, you can start out with a couple of things just to kind of get her used to it,
Yeah.
Just start out with, one small part of something,
Yep.
One thing every week.
One thing every week.
Or one thing every day, depending on how big the things are.
And, the thing about the time, I think I mentioned this last week, was that, I tend to underestimate how much time something may take. And so if I'm in a meeting with somebody and I say, oh yeah, I can get that done, no problem, that'll only take me 15 minutes, and I get in there and it's 2 hours.
But then you can go back and look at the history of a similar project. You could say, oh, I did this for so-and-so back in October, and go back and boom, oh, that took me 3.5 hours. So, well, it's reasonable to assume 3 to 4 hours here.
Yeah,
exactly. And so, yeah, for future projects, it'll be very helpful to know how much time something may take,
Yeah. So there's two good business places: the billing part and the estimating part, or the proposal writing and the estimating part. Very useful on both levels. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I actually did use Teamwork when I submitted a proposal a couple months back in December, maybe. I was doing a bid on a website, and so we outlined everything. I outlined myself everything I knew I was going to have to do. I went into Teamwork and I looked at all the different tasks on that to see how long that stuff was going to take me, and then I charged. Estimated accordingly, so that way I didn't get stung.
Yeah.
So.
Good plan. So a very, very useful tool for all businesses, but we are all solopreneurs, and we're seeing really, really good applications as well. So now I see it's 9:59.
We made it under the wire.
We made it within the hour. So thank you again, Alanna, for sharing.
You're very welcome.
And
Great job.
And thanks others for your participation. And so I think it's time for me to remind everyone it's important to do what you love with passion. So